You want to open the show?
Yeah. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Getting to you late this week for this card. I know a lot of there's been a lot of shit, but there's been a lot of shows out already. People giving picks Sunday, Monday for this card. Let them do that. That's just shows That's poor handicapping, in my opinion. You're not fucking ready to give out picks on Sunday and Monday and everything. Like, come on. How are you gonna know? I'm John Batanti. That is the Josh Moody. And we're bringing it to you live. Experts versus algorithm again. Quick storyline recap. If you follow betting last week, you might have seen that the Shyamalan Nudernbieke fight versus Derek Minner, that line started bugging out of control. And after the fight is being investigated by United States Sports and Gambling Integrity Department, which actually has no power. So if you think, so there won't be any change in the result of the fight. That definitely won't happen. But if they find that the fight was possibly tampered with, they can send it to someone else who can actually pursue, maybe find the UFC or something. But yeah, Derek Minner definitely. Somebody, I guess there's no injury reports in MMA like we've talked about. So someone from his camp leaked out that his knee is fucked.
Do you know who his head coach is?
James Krause.
Yeah. Do you know where James Krause's money comes from?
He doesn't hide it. He bets MMA a lot.
Yeah.
He does.
Like how he makes his money.
Isn't he from Wisconsin though? He's from.
They're in Lee's Summit, Missouri.
Yeah, there's no gambling in Missouri either. So I've seen people like so. I don't know Derek Minner's contract. Maybe you do. I would say he's such a veteran. I don't think he gets a show and a win purse. I think he gets a flat rate, right?
I doubt it. I don't think he's been there very long. I also don't think they like him especially much.
Okay, because I was trying to think like, there's a lot of conspiracy theories, but if he has a contract like, say, Dillashaw, where he just gets a flat rate to get to the octagon, like he walks in, like he's going to show up and fight. If he gets a show and a win purse, he already got a show purse. He made weight, right? So he doesn't have to actually go through with the fight. So I didn't see what's the incentive for him to fight? In that case, then yeah, maybe he would probably throw the fight if he knew like, okay, I'm getting paid elsewhere. But here's the thing. It's really hard it's easy to say like, oh, well, your coach, he threw the fight, he's going to make a lot of money. Where's that money coming from? How's he getting that money down? If there's no gambling in Missouri, they're in Vegas and such. Okay, it's kind of hard to hide that though. There's only so much you can, there's only so much you can get down. I'm sure James Krause. Well, how much can you really bet? If you're James Krause isn't going to walk to the window and bet. I don't know if he can't really do that. The UFC is against gambling, and he's against.
That's that would been that way for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, but that would be foolish. He's not going to gamble on his own fights.
People.
He's going to have to have a runner. They call it a runner. Like he's going to have other people bet. Like is he betting on the street? Okay, how much can you really get down? It's like
how much?
There's much more
down payment. Is that what you're saying?
Like, how much? When you say how much can he really get on his fighters through like a street bookie? You know what I mean? Like there's always a limit. Like no one takes that big. Especially probably from a guy that can kick your ass. So
he lost $3 million when Nate the Train beat David Oyama.
No, I don't buy that. Sorry.
Yeah, but what if that's not one bet? And what if he's not betting as himself?
No, you would have to have a bunch of people go through everyone else, but still think about $3 million. How much that is? Like how big the bets are.
That doesn't seem that crazy to me.
What? What? Well, to me, like for somebody
like a mutual fund.
No, I know what a hedge fund is, but I don't know. I don't see what's the tie to that with gambling. With getting
that's how you make it a big number. Like it doesn't impress me that it's a big number if he's got 20 people that gave him money or 50 people that gave him money to bet on that fight. Then it doesn't.
Right.
Then the fact that it was $3 million.
But who's taking that? You know what I mean? Like if he logs online because people, I have a lot of experience with that. I think like taking like a street bookie is not taking that big of action, especially because because they don't post the money. It's all on credit. So who's taking that big action from somebody? You know what I mean? It's very hard. it's hard to find a guy that'll take the big of action. Even if you bet online on like FanDuel, I mean, they always have a limit too. Maybe they'll take $100,000 on a minus 200, $100,000. So get profits 50,000 for the player. Like it's really, and you'd have to be like, that's a lot. How are you depositing that online? You know what I mean? Like you need a lot of things to happen. There's a lot that goes into it. Like to see like, and so honestly, like the point, I guess like it's a little off track, but the point is like there's a lot more money to be made by the fighter and from the UFC, and a lot easier and legal than to just say, oh, their coach threw the fight, they made a lot of money. No, did someone offshore and other people make a lot of money? Yes. The line went from minus 200 to minus 550 at one point before I saw two books actually take it off the board, which to me was frightening. I've never seen that before. So I started betting Shailan Nuderbieke, and I bet him to win my finish, the under, everything I could because something was up. I didn't make a lot of money on it because, again, it's hard. Like, it's hard to get a lot of action down. But yeah, something was definitely up with that. And you could see Minner was fucked. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think much is going to come from it. They'll just do an investigation that'll lead to pretty much nowhere, and I don't even think there's not going to be any injury reports or anything. But yeah,
you can't do that. It's not possible.
What the
an injury report? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right, or else they would have it by now. It's just a dark side of betting MMA. You just don't know what condition someone's in.
All right.
But we get to this one. UFC 281, Adesanya Pereira. First fight of the card is we got Carlos Ulberg against Nikolai Negumereanu. And tough on the call. Ulberg opened up about minus 220 favorite, and then it got bet down to a pick'ems. Since then, Ulberg's back up and favorite status. We were on Negumereanu his last fight, and he did win. He won by finish. Tough guy. Blocks punches with his face, which is a good thing in certain matchups. I don't think that's a good plan here. Even though I think Ulberg's first fight he gassed out against Nchekwu, he kind of fixed that problem. His last two fights, I don't see him doing that again. I think Negumereanu needs to win he needs to open up and win a firefight. That's just his style. He does really good in firefights. If he can get you down, he does have good ground and pound for his size and for that division. He will beat you up. The city kickboxing guys, from overall, I want to say they have really good takedown defense. I think it's underrated. Even though they don't show much of a ground game, their takedown defense seems pretty solid. So I'm going to say that Ulberg he's going to stop the takedown. He should be able to dance around this and win this fight by a wide decision.
I agree that City Kickboxing has pretty good takedown defense, but this guy's a straight kickboxer. And
that's true.
As far as I can tell, he has not been tested.
No, not at all. One takedown attempt I think he's faced so far in his career.
He's faced one attempt?
So he's had 3 UFC fights, 1 takedown attempt.
That's awesome. He took down Fabio not twice. That's actually interesting.
Yes.
And Jakku, okay. Yeah, I don't think he's going to win this. I'm pretty sure that Nikolai's going to be able to take him down. I think Niku's dogged enough.
Yeah, I mean that's why that's why the line dropped. I mean, definitely the sharp money early was definitely on that side. Like this guy's untested. If he gets taken down, he might not be able to get back up, and that's definitely an angle. So hey, I guess I got Ulberg, you got Nikolai. All right, Awesome. Let's do it. Next fight on the card is
Julio Arce versus Montel Jackson.
Yeah, Montel. That's you know Montel, right? You're a Montel supporter. Yeah, I'm a fan of Montel's skills, Montel's game. he hasn't fought any names recently of his past fights. He also doesn't fight very often, but his power numbers are really awesome for this weight class.
What do you mean his power numbers?
He knocks people down like motherfucker. He's got really good knockdown, really good power numbers. He's very well rounded too as a fighter. Montel's a well rounded fighter. Arce is an intriguing matchup because he's a southpaw, and I don't think he's going to come forward like Montel last few fights. I think this is going to be a really close fight. I don't agree with Montel being minus 250. I think Montel wins the fight, but I think this is going to be a lot closer than people think because Arce he can make this a slog like and not give Montel counter. Montel's really good as a counter puncher. So we'll see. I don't think Arce is going to come forward, but it's going to be a tough fight. If you're betting it's dog or pass, I would bet Arce, but I think Montel wins it, but not as a minus 250. What do you think?
Minus 250 is pretty high. I'm not making a pick on this fight. I trained with Montel for this fight.
Okay.
Things to watch out for if you're looking for like live odds. How often are they fighting against the wall? Montel is likely to do better there than Arce will.
Yes.
If they get to the ground, how much are they scrambling?
Mm-hmm.
Montel is very good at scrambling, but Arce is very good at finding the back.
Yes.
And so if there's a lot of scrambling happening, that's a lot of opportunities for Arce to find the back.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that all plays in. I think Montel, as good as Montel can be, this is a big step up in competition from his previous like 4 opponents. He's taken like a lot of again, he's very inactive, and Arce's been fighting. Arce's definitely a step up, even though he got knocked out last time by Song Yadong, but that's okay. He's very durable other than that, and Song Yadong's a really good fighter. So Arce's been facing some good competition.
Can you please mute that?
That's all right. Next fight on the card is...
the next fight on the card is not currently up on my screen, but I'll have it. Mike Trizano versus Seungwoo Choi.
Yes, I got Seungwoo Choi here. Just Trizano hasn't shown the offensive wrestling capability of getting this fight down where Choi struggles. Choi's also devoted a ton of time recently for this fight, especially into his grappling, which is where he struggles. His striking is really good. So, it wouldn't shock me, but I think this fight plays out in the feet, and Choi, that favors Choi. Choi's a good striker.
Yeah, I heavily lean Choi as well. Mike Trizano's been in the UFC for a minute now, and he hasn't beaten good people. And he has lost to people who are, Grant Dawson is really good. Right? Yeah. Hakeem Dawodu, good on paper, but hasn't been super impressive in the UFC.
Yeah, that was a bad matchup for him. He was just so outclassed in the striking with the speed and technical thing. He got beat up. But yeah, we'll see. Seungwoo's fast too, not as fast as Hakeem, but Seungwoo has more power than Hakeem.
So yeah, I think Seungwoo Choi should have this.
All right, what do we got next?
Karolina Kowalkiewicz.
Oh yeah, Karolina
versus Silvana Gomez Juarez.
So I was you correctly predicted Silvana Gomez Juarez last fight, knocking the shit out of Liang Na, and you were right about that. So the thing about Silvana is, she has pretty sick power for this weight class. The knock on her is, you get her down, it's over. She's terrible off her back. She doesn't have good takedown defense. I'm sure she's been working on it. But that's that. The thing is, if you watch Karolina her whole career, which should have been over 3 years ago, but she wants to fight. I think the worst thing that happened was she won her last fight. against what's her face,
Felice
who also
Herring.
who retired on her way out, and Felice Herring was a huge favorite in that fight and got just got beat, whatever. But had a good career. Carolina. If you've ever seen Carolina's fights, her fight IQ isn't really there. She prefers the strike. So you can't bank on her going in here and going with a takedown heavy approach. And there's also no telling. Her wrestling's always sucked. So there's no telling she's going to take this fight down. I think she's going to get this turned to a striking thing, and she's going to get knocked the fuck out. But what do you think?
I don't know if Carolina gets knocked out.
She is tough. She's durable.
Don't know how well. I don't know how well Silvana will do as fights progress. Right, like in all three of her fights, she have been finished in the first round. She got submitted twice in the first round.
Yeah, bad too. Bad submissions.
Like,
bad. Like she had a knockdown against the only fight I think she looked bad in was against Lupi. The other fight she knocked down Donopoulos and then was trying to give a ground and pound and got armbarred from the bottom, which it's just basic stuff. But
I don't know if this kind of bet exists, but I would bet on Silvana by finish or anyone by decision.
Yeah, you can bet on both. You can bet all that, of course. Yeah, you can bet that. Either fighter by decision. Like a strict bet like that. Yeah, you can bet it. You can bet it. Yeah, you can. You can bet those as straight bets, but I think like either fighter by decision, it was probably going to be really high odds. So, but there's value in Juarez by finish, and Juarez maybe round one, round two, round one finish where her power's fresh. Maybe she just knocks out Carolina. But all right, what else do we next fight?
Matt Frevola versus Otman Azaitar.
Dude, where's Ottman been? It's been 3 years, and he got the guys just showed the guy was knocking everyone out. Had a ton of hype, and then he had that weird issue. The UFC fired him, and then they brought him back.
They fired him?
Yeah, somebody during one of the COVID protocols, they snuck.
This guy.
Yeah, it's that guy. I was wondering what happened to him, but that's what happened, and now he's back. Matt, this is a tough matchup. Matt Frevola is the thing we've seen about Ottman in his previous game is he struggles. He'll gas out, especially against wrestlers, and Frevola definitely can do that. If Frevola does that, he's going to win the fight. So I'm going to go with Frevola. I think Frevola outlasts the early onslaught or the early power, and I think he takes over.
I picked a Zaitar, and I'm sticking with that pick, but the more research I did, the more I was worried.
Yeah, I feel you. I totally
got this.
Yeah, yeah. And when I first saw it, I'm like, oh my god, this guy's back. He's gonna knock him the fuck out. Then I was like, no, he's not. I was like,
oh no.
All right. Yeah. Next fight.
Our next fight is Andre Petrosky versus Wellington Turman. Yo, I'm super excited for this fight.
I'm ready to see this fight too, just to see how it plays out. I'm stupidly confident that Wellington Turman throws in a really good performance. I feel he has definitely faced way tougher competition. He's UFC seasoned. I mean, has he put things together well? No. But I've seen enough out of him, especially like in his last couple fights, that I don't know. I'm not that. Andre Petrosky's beaten like the bottom of the barrel so far, and that's great and all, but like I haven't seen it's not like he destroyed guys. Like it took him a long time to get Yang Ju Hu out of there, and Yang Ju Hu is like not. I don't even know if he's fighting anymore. Like he's just not. He's not a good fighter. So yeah, and Petrosky definitely. I've seen Petrosky gas. I don't know what approach. Petrosky's pretty well rounded. I don't know what approach he'll take. Neither or Turman either, but I'm going to go with Turman here. I think Turman outclasses him.
What's the line?
Petrosky's minus 250. Turman was plus 185, plus 190.
Oh, that makes total sense because Petrosky's going to smash him.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah. Turman's a grappler. And he's not like Turman's a grappler.
Okay.
He's likely going to push them against the wall. I have 12 minutes.
We're good.
Turman is likely going to attempt to push him against the wall. Petrosky's going to be really, really well trained there. And if it's an open space, Petrosky's going to shoot like a madman and probably take him down off of that. If Turman is able to keep this on the feet, Petrosky's not well-rounded. Petrosky's displayed bad striking in the UFC.
Okay, I haven't picked up on that.
And I don't know that he hasn't developed significantly outside, but like what he showed us was not good.
Okay. No, I could totally
He's
feel
good
that. I mean, yeah.
He's a good grappler.
Yeah.
No. He threw like the biggest overhand 17 times in a row, and it's like the only punch he threw, and it was at 100% every time.
Right, and the only one you can hit from that was Young Jung Hoo, and he didn't knock him out. So,
right?
Yeah.
He's not
All right, but I like Turman. I think Turman fends off the takedowns or survives and take. I think Turman's the livest underdog on this card. Next fight, please.
That's fair. I think Wellington Turman's a smart bet, but I do believe Petrosky's going to win. Aaron Blanchfield versus Molly McCann.
Yeah, stupid odds. Aaron Blanchfield. So we kind of talked about our last fight, and JJ Aldrich kept it on the feet and won the first round. And then she proceeded to do JJ Aldrich-like things and get standing high up guillotined in the second round. And yeah, I mean Blanchfield, it's really hard for girls this size and division because she's such a good grappler. I mean, if you can keep it on the feet, she's very mortal. Like her striking is very basic. It's not like her strength is getting, she'll get you down and she'll keep you down and she'll ground and pound you or submit you. Molly's very come forward. Molly's very brolic. Molly struggled mightily against this style. Molly's not someone that can keep it on the feet. She hasn't shown she can. Has she turned that around? Maybe. She is strong. But yeah, I don't know. Blanchfield wins.
You said you don't think Molly can keep it on the feet?
Well, she hasn't shown she can against wrestlers. She struggles a lot. Yeah.
Oh, I'm clarifying that I heard that proper.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'll go with Blanchfield. Should she be minus 450? No. If you're going to bet Blanchfield, better to win by submission or finish. But the odds are ridiculous on the Blanchfield train. Blanchfield, if anything, last fight, if she's very basic, if you keep it up standing.
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't bet on this one. Blanchfield is pretty untested. A JJ Eldridge win is a good win, and
it is.
A Miranda Maverick win is even better.
But she lost the first round to JJ Eldridge, and she did do a lot of good things against Miranda Maverick, who's a really good grappler too, but she's not outstanding all around.
Yeah. So I wouldn't put money on this fight, but I do assume that Molly McCann will be losing this fight.
All right.
Next fight is Dominic Reyes versus Ryan Spann.
Yeah, this could be. I don't know why this isn't the main event on the prelims, because this could headline a fight night. This is a pretty good matchup. Dom Reyes, where you been? Is he over John Jones yet? I mean, he just really keeps talking. He talks a lot about John Jones. Like 3 years later, 2 fights after that. The Blachowicz fight after the Jones fight, that wasn't the Dom Reyes I think we saw beforehand. Maybe it was in his head a little bit. He just didn't have a good night that night. Did he get knocked out by Yuri? Yeah, but you know what? He also lit Yuri the fuck up a few times. So Dom Reyes has some fucking good striking. He was there that night. He just got knocked out by, in a really knockout of the year, really good fight. But he also had his moments in that fight. So let's not forget that. Ryan Spann, if anything, I've always said Spann's really talented. The question that he just doesn't put it together. He can't put it together back-to-back fights. He can't put it together for 3 rounds. He just has issues. So I think Dom Reyes wins the fight. Probably I think he knocks him out.
Dominic Reyes is really good at following a game plan. His lifelong regular stick and ball sports made him pretty good at strategy as well as being pretty athletic. So you put some pretty basic tools on him, and he's able to use them in pretty dynamic ways. But Ryan Spann fucks people up.
He does?
Just flat out. I expect
he's very powerful. You like the
Yeah,
upset, huh?
I think Ryan Span's going to finish Dominic Reyes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, wow, that's a big thing. Like, if Dom Reyes gets finished here by Ryan Spann, then yeah, like then he's kind of on his career kind of cratered as far as UFC. But all right, next fight.
The next fight of the night is Renato Moicano versus Brad Riddell.
Yeah, I have no idea. Go ahead, you pick this fight. I have no clue.
No idea.
I have no idea.
Renato Moicano is a good striker, but is not like he's not a world class striker.
No.
What he was really, really good at is making fights into wars. And he's very good on the ground.
He is.
Right?
I agree with that.
Brad Riddell is a very high level striker. He's like one of the striking coaches one of the best strikers in that Asiatic region, so whatever it's called.
Nice reference, guys.
But I don't expect that Brad Riddell is going to be able to keep it on the feet and keep it clean for long enough.
Okay.
Like, I don't think he's not as pretty of a stick and mover as Adesanya and as Volkanovski, even though he is as dynamic a striker as they are. So I expect there to be a clinch, and I think Brad Riddell is going to get taken down as the fight progresses. And I expect more to finish on the ground.
Okay. I'll go opposite. I'll take Riddell just to be. I'll pull out of here because it's a tough fight. All right, main card. First fight is
Dan Hooker versus Claudio Puelles.
I can't fucking
100% rooting for Dan Hooker. I want Dan Hooker to win this fight so bad.
I mean, I'm rooting for Dan Hooker. He's back to his weight. I don't think there's any shame. He started a firefight with Arnold Allen, who we've talked about. I think Arnold Allen's fucking awesome. And yeah, he just got knocked out. I think that like Claudio Puelles, like I can't believe Dan Hooker's only minus 130. I think Dan Hooker's is the most valuable favorite on the card. I think Dan Hooker should be like minus 200, minus 250 in this matchup. Dan Hooker's going to fuck this dude up. Yeah, like Puelles isn't taking Dan Hooker down and keeping him down or doing any of that. No, Puelles. All right, Dan Hooker. We both got Dan Hooker. Next fight.
We don't both have Dan Hooker.
Wait, you just said you want Dan Hooker to win this fight.
I do, but Puelles is special. Telling you,
wow.
even if Puelles loses this fight, Puelles is special.
All right.
I expect
you would know. You're a grappling savant, so you would know. All right, let's see it.
He's special.
I think Hooker wins, but
I hope Hooker wins.
I think
Hooker
wins
can
and
still
looks good.
fight for a title if he loses this fight.
But yeah, he's stepping up. We'll see how he does. But he's on 6'3".
Frankie Edgar versus Chris Gutierrez.
Yeah, so I mean, the line on this fight is Gutierrez minus 200. So it's all about Frankie's chin. This is a gigantic step up in competition for Gutierrez. The thing that I've seen, like Frankie's fights, he's lost 4 out of 5 fights, but he's won rounds in all those fights. You know, before whatever happened. Like Frankie hasn't looked awful. Yeah, I mean, Frankie has a lot of ways to win this fight. If he, you know, like Gutierrez hasn't shown. He's not no one thinks of him as a knockout power, nor should you. He's got finishes on his resume, but he's not finished. He's more of a decision guy and outpoint you. You know, Frankie has a lot of ways to win this. I'm going to go with Frankie. I think Frankie wins.
I'm not picking on this one either.
Okay. So
I trade Frankie, but Chris Gutierrez does a good job of surviving on the ground, but isn't going to pose anything meaningful on the ground. On the strike, on the feet, however, he is incredibly dangerous.
Yes, he is
an incredibly dangerous kicker. He's a dangerous dude.
Okay.
And I don't mean like one punch knockout. I mean like break your ankle with a kick.
Yeah, no, he's definitely got those strikes. I think it's all about that. Yeah, I think that's why the line is where it is. It's just how much can Frankie take? If Frankie can get takedowns, and when they happen, if he gets a takedown, maybe the first round and third round, that might be all he needs to like keep the fight on the ground and steal the rounds. You know, and when he gets touched, can he hold up? All right, what do we got next?
Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. Poirier doesn't go to war with people anymore, but he does make them believe that they are at war with him.
Okay. Yeah, I can.
He, like exits, like he doesn't enter the fire with you. He stands next to the fire, and you think he's there. You think he's
Yeah,
in the fire with you. You think he's at war with you, but he's just manipulating the war from just outside of it, or
yeah,
inside of it, but inside of like a safe bubble. Rather than going to war with you with reckless abandon like he used to, he operates in the same place, but from a safer, in a safer fashion.
yeah.
I gotta run.
Wow.
There's two. I wrote down my picks for the last two. I gotta run.
Go. No, what do you got? Yeah, Poirier.
Huh? I have
Yeah,
Poirier.
Poirier. I think Chandler. I think Chandler wins. I think Chandler. Go. I think Chandler wins the.